Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I am your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I hope you're having a great, what day is this, Thursday? Hope you're having whatever a good day this is. Mine has been, man, yesterday I wake up and Baldur's Gate, which I left downloading overnight, Baldur's Gate 3, wake up looking forward to playing it. And I get up and it's not downloaded all the way. It's still got a couple of hours. I'm like, damn it. Because my download speeds on the satellite during the day suck. But the other day I reached out to the satellite company because when I get deprioritized after I use 100 gigs, which I understand that. It's satellite. It's not the greatest technology for internet anyway. All right, no big deal. But I was getting speeds less than a quarter of a megabyte. And so I reached out to him and I'm like, what's going on? And she gave me the spiel, you get deprioritized. All right, I'm just going to ask you flat out, are you guys capping me? Because it was a little too regulated for it to be just, traffic is a little higher here and lower there. And an amazing thing happened. After I had that conversation with him, I've not dropped under a meg since then. Actually, there's sometimes during the day where it gets as high as 30 megs in download. The positive there is that it only took another 2 hours to finally finish downloading Baldur's Gate. Plus, it's debate night, you guys. So I was happy. I was in such a good mood. And I played Baldur's Gate for about 2 or 3 hours. I went through the opening part a couple of times. Once because I named my character wrong. Oops. But then I really dug into it a little bit and got about an hour and a half worth of play in. And my body just went, nope, we're done. It's the third out of the last 6 days where it's done that to me. And it's starting to get to me, guys. It's starting to break me mentally. And if it wasn't for the fact that Lady Monkey was in bed, I would just be in there right now rolling around trying desperately to fall asleep, to find that sweet release of unconsciousness, man. But that's not happening. So we're here and we're going to talk about politics because get my mind off this by getting me enraged. Let's talk about things that I hate and people I hate and bring some joy back to my heart. I think I forgot to tweet this out. Did anybody tweet it out? I hate when I do that. I get so focused on getting the opening done. I'm like, shit. What the hell was I supposed to do? Yeah, I'll tweet it out later. Vice presidential debate. I hated that I missed it, guys. I told you guys, I love politics, man. I fucking live for this shit. And I know we don't find out a whole lot, and it's mostly a flaccid jousting match. But I love it. I do. I like the barbs. I like the one-liners. I like the back and forth. And I had to miss it. And so I was watching it. I was watching it, and a curious thing happened. A curious thing happens in this debate that we'll get to in just a moment. But first, we are going to look at some fact checking tonight too, because I said I was in bed all day, so I don't know what else the hell was going on in the world. So we'll take a look at some fact checkers. The one I pulled up is from the New York Times, and I scrolled through it a little bit, and it already annoyed me. It's one of those things. It's a whole lot of what are the words they use? It's misleading. Let's say something. That's misleading. There's very few of them where like that's true or that's false. That's misleading. They even had the nerve to say that about Kamala claiming that Trump called the virus a hoax. They keep doing it. That's misleading. No, it's not misleading. It's a fucking lie. It's an outright lie. And I just get enraged at these things because why? Okay, look, fact check them. By all means, fact check them. You should be doing that. But I don't think they even know what fact checking is anymore. Forget the fact that they can't report worth of shit. They can't fact check worth of shit. even their fact checking is fucking biased now. I mean, we've joked about it with other debates and with the State of the Union, and anytime they decide to fact check Trump, and it's like, well, technically true. I mean, they've gotten to the point where they can't be honest about anything. Going through that New York Times thing, I think I saw one spot where they called something out directly, maybe two. The rest of them were all, oh, that's exaggerated, or you need context. Like, oh, for fuck's sake. Great, my lighter's going to die halfway through the show. And my candles are too. Oh, I have another candle. You guys wait right here. I'm not going far. I got to creak my ass over to the. Yeah. You'll be fine. I'll be right back. Oh, goddamn. Okay. Whew. Can y'all still hear me? Do I sound echoey over here? Oh, goddamn. I always forget I have this candle. That's why I still have it. That's right. At the beginning of my show, I got up and left y'all for a moment to get a candle. You'll be okay. Oh, fuck, man. That's the other corner of my room. It's I got to turn my desk, which would probably give me more of an echo, which means I'll have to deal with that. But anyway. So I guess let's start with the I want to set the stage. I don't want there to be any chance of anybody going, oh, monkey lied or monkey exaggerated, because I'm human. I can be prone to both. But I want to show something first of all, so that if I've heard that different entities are trying to claim videos if they use video, and I just want to show this is from C-SPAN. So if I have to fight it on copyright issues, I mean, it's right fucking there. And C-SPAN is basically open source. They allow you to use their stuff. This is the moderator of last night's debate. Something Page. I forget. Susan Page, is that it? We're going to join her. Make sure the volume is up. As she says this.
One note, no one in either campaign or at the commission or anywhere else has been told in advance what topics I'll raise or what questions I'll ask.
No one in either campaign or at the place there that she's doing this thing for know anything about not just the questions, but the topics. They don't even know what topics are going to be brought up. All right, we all caught that, right? We all understand what she just said there. There's no ambiguity. No ambiguity at all. Now we're going to jump up here to... If you're watching strictly the debate, it's about 25 minutes into the debate. But it's on the C-SPAN feed. They had some talking and stuff that went on beforehand. So on the C-SPAN feed, it's at about 38 and a half minutes. Right as Pence is finishing up. All right, I want right there. Pence is finishing up a question about something. I don't know what it's about. I watched it, but I don't remember. But it leads to this.
7 years in public service compared to President Donald Trump, who brought all of that experience 4 years ago.
Thank you, Vice
and
President.
turned this economy around by cutting taxes, rolling back regulation,
thank you,
American
Vice President.
energy, fighting for free and fair trade, and all of that's on the
Vice
line
President
if
Pence.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
You know, that's a
are in
good
the White
segue into our third topic, which is...
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Let me play it one more time. Because we don't need to hear all of what he said. I just want to make sure that was set up so you could see it. We'll come back to I want about 50, close enough. Listen to the debate moderator and listen to this woman. Here it goes.
Thank you,
American
Vice President
energy,
Pence.
fighting for free and fair trade, and all of that's
thank you,
on the
Vice
line
President
if
Pence.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
You know, that's a
are in
good
the White
segue into our third topic, which...
It's a good segue into our next topic. It's a great segue, says Kamala Harris. She hasn't said the topic yet. because she doesn't say the topic until
is about the economy. This has been
right there. Thank you, Ex-Bubba Hotep. Thank you. I'm reminded by a Spaceballs line to frequently would I lie. Yeah. It's so blatant. It is so blatant.
And all of that's
thank you,
on the
Vice
line
President
if
Pence.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
You know, that's a
in
good
the White
segue into our third
great
topic,
segue.
which is
She says it's a great segue before Susan here announces the topic. Remember, we just watched this lady tell us that not only does the commission not know the campaigns not know the topics, the commission doesn't even know the topics. They don't know the topics or the questions. But somehow, Kamala knows that it is a great segue to the economy topic that's coming right up. You know, there's a lot of things I can go, okay, yeah, they said that. That just sounds kind of weird. Maybe they're just going, oh yeah, it's time we move on. You know, something where it could be ambiguous that maybe their wording was just, it kind of made it seem like they knew something. The bitch says, great segue. I don't know how nobody else caught this. After I found this, I actually went and I went to Crowder's thing to see if he caught it. He didn't catch it. I don't know if the Lords of the Night guys did, because I didn't. I wasn't sure where the timestamp would be, and I went and looked on various different feeds of people on Twitter. Mostly is where I looked. I didn't see anybody bring this up. I didn't see anybody even notice this. The bitch just told us she already knew what was coming. She just told us she cheated. What? Great segue. Isn't that funny? The moderator read the topics beforehand. When? She did not read the topics. She, as this starts, she goes, this is the first topic, and goes into it. Crowder wouldn't hear it. He loudly rambles over while watching. Well, it's amazing, because actually at that point, he's not talking. And what's his friend's name? Gerald? You see Gerald's face. I think Gerald heard it. But then Steven starts talking, and Gerald just seems to let it go. Monkey, I mentioned it to Richo as we were watching. Good for you for catching it. I'm surprised that didn't blow up. Meh, don't think that's convincing. Okay. What or how else does that's a great segue go for a switch of topic when she doesn't know what the switch of topic is? By the way, a segue is a seamless transfer to a new topic. That you just brought up something that goes into our next topic. The only way that Kamala would be able to say that's a great segue and that not be a completely retarded thing for her to say is if she knows what topic is coming next. So there's two choices there. Either Kamala's an idiot or she knew the topics. And we know for a fact that the DNC has worked with the debate commissions before to feed people questions. Was that C-SPAN? C-SPAN wasn't this lady here. She works for USA Today. Nobody was hosting these. This is hosted by the Nonpartisan Debate Commission, and they picked her as a thing. There's no way you can say great segue as a reflex when you don't know the subject. Indeed, it makes absolutely no sense for her to say great segue right there. Absolutely zero sense. Expo Hotep, thank you. But what about the most pressing subject, the fly? I didn't get to that part in the debate before I started getting pissy and decided to do a show instead. So I haven't seen it. I did see a whole bunch of people talking about it. I also saw them talking about Pence's eyes being red, and They're like, he's got blood in him. No, he's tired. The man's tired. Tattoo Steven, thank you. I like how cool and polite Mike was through it, or was it through Kamala off her game. I think she was looking to play the victim card. Well, there's people already doing that, and we'll get into that in just a little bit as well. We can do that before we do some fact checking if you guys would like. USA Today, yeah, she must have cheated. Look, I'm not saying who cheated. I'm saying that there is no good reason for her to have used that verbiage at that time. This chick says it's a good segue into our next topic. And before she can name the topic, Kamala says it's a great segue. That's it's fishy at the very least. If that doesn't make you go, huh, then you're either way too forgiving of these people and think that they are better people than they are. You haven't been paying attention, or you're the idiot. And I'm not trying to call anybody an idiot. I don't think any of you guys are actually stupid. I think there's a lot of people who are. I think some of you are too forgiving. Like we say, that doesn't mean anything to me. There is no other reason to say that's a great segue at that point. You can't know something's a good segue if you don't know what the coming topic is. Unless you're being facetious and making jokes, which she clearly wasn't. Because even then, you make a joke about it being a great segue when it's not actually a great segue. That's where the irony comes from. It's I had the feeling, and I said this during the presidential debate, that Joe Biden's answers were just a little too prepared. Real quick, how you doing, Jack?
Oh, not too bad. I just got done going to the bathroom, and I feel great.
Good for you. That's always a nice feeling.
It was, man. Sometimes you just have to take a good poop.
I don't know if you saw my Twitter.
Not recently.
Good. Don't look.
Okay.
You'll have to take my word on this part, okay?
All right.
At the beginning of the debate tonight, and maybe you watched it, so you don't have to take my word, the moderator said, the debate commission and nobody in any of the campaigns knows the topics or the questions she's about to ask.
Yeah, they always say that lie.
And then there's something that happens in there, Jack, that made me go, And I want to see if you catch it. I want to see if you catch this the way that I did. And once again, I'm just showing that this is coming from the C-SPAN. So if anybody tries to copyright me, I'm going to counterclaim and make you sue me and take all your money. Anyway, Pence is finishing an answer.
Thank you, Vice
American
President
energy,
Pence.
fighting for free and fair trade, and all of that's
Thank you,
on the
Vice
line
President
if
Pence.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
You know, that's a
in
good
the White
segue into our third
great
topic,
segue.
which is about
Kamala doesn't know the topics, but she just said it's a great segue before this lady tells her what the topic is.
Yeah. How does she know what the segue is?
Isn't that interesting?
Indeed.
Isn't that interesting? I was watching the debate and that jumped out at me so hard. I actually stopped. I'm like, I couldn't have heard that.
Right? Oh, that's why, I just said I had a really good poop. Well, so did Pence because he pooped all over her.
I pointed this out on Twitter, to which some moron said to me, you do know at the beginning of the debate, they announced how many segments they are. And on top of that, while candidates don't know the questions beforehand, their camp is aware of the topics that will be covered. Do your research before crying wolf. Once again, she said nobody knew the topics. Nobody knew the questions. And then Kamala answered that before she knew the upcoming topic. That's a great segue. How the fuck does she know? The only reasonable explanation is that once again, the media is in bed with the DNC when it comes to debate time.
What? How would that happen?
Mike Balzac, thank you. Come swallow her Harris? Yeah, indeed. Well, we don't know that she swallowed. She might have spit.
No, she doesn't get a good job. She doesn't swallow.
Well, she did get. I mean, she ended up being the AG of California, so she probably swallowed. Just saying, that's a guess. And I was just when you came in, Jack, I was pointing out that if you go back to the presidential debate, I said maybe halfway, a little bit further through, that Biden's answer seemed a little too prepared, a little too spot on.
Yeah.
For somebody who didn't know the questions. And I remember that moment because Scribe went, really? Do you think so? I'm like, yeah. Because every time that he actually answered a question, it was such a prepared statement. And I get the idea of you go out there and you give your stump speech and everything, but nobody's that prepared for a debate. You know what I mean? Nobody's that prepared to where you're actually answering the question. You might know what the topic is. You might have an idea of what it is. But for you to go out there and give a specifically rehearsed speech, and he did that over and over and over again.
Well, to be fair, Biden may not have had the questions, but the person feeding him lines in his ear did.
Fair enough. I just they're so brazen about it, man.
Oh yeah, they don't care.
Now, in fairness, Kamala might not have even realized she did that when she did it. Because you know what I got from watching just what I watched of her?
What's
She really should have had blue hair for this thing.
that?
Because all of the eye rolls and she just came off like a little college feminist who won't shut the fuck up and listen to people. She just about what she has to say, and no matter what you say, truth be damned, she gonna roll her eyes and tell you how wrong you are. And yeah, blue hair. Why? Because she came off as a millennial dipshit.
She reminded me a lot of Big Red.
Yeah. One thing that makes me doubt, though, is that Kamala never answered a question. She dodged and danced around every single one.
She dodged a lot.
Well, yeah, I saw that in the part that I did or that I watched. That just helps you know to dodge. If you know a left hook's coming, you know you can duck out of the way. You know what I mean? It gives you time to prepare and not answer. Her first answer was the same one Joe Biden dodged during the debate. What would Joe Biden do to fix COVID? And she goes into a 2-minute ramble about what Donald Trump has done wrong.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you say, yeah, we'll fix everything. Like, how, bitch? How?
It's all in the plan. Probably the one Warren wrote because they're just stealing their platforms from everybody.
1776 says it's not something you can prove, though. Yeah, that's what Donna Brazil thought back in 16 or 15, actually, because I think that's when the debate happened. Until those pesky Russians.
And their crazy dog, too.
Their crazy dog, too. Their antics.
Yeah, she really dodged the packing the court question, like Ken just pointed out.
I didn't make it that far, but I did see a whole bunch of people talking about that on Twitter.
Yeah, Pence did a pretty good job of calling her out on it. I would have liked to have seen him call her out on Antifa more.
I made it probably 40 minutes into the debate, so anything after that I haven't seen. We are going to go through a fact check of it, though, Jack.
Oh, God.
What? They're great.
Yeah, they're so honest. Now would be a good time to remind everybody that we're brought to you by you because we're suffering so you don't have to.
That's right. We're suffering so that you can with us. But before we move on to the fact check, this was just brought to my attention right before the show. I was actually setting up the show when I saw it. Ex-Bubba Hotep, thank you. I felt that Kamala's entire game plan was to run out the clock, slowly talk, use a lot of filler. Well, thank you for that great question that I will answer eventually. But from what I saw, I can't say that that's what I saw. I saw her go up there and just say whatever she wanted to anyway. For the most part, no matter what she was asked, how will you guys deal with this? What is Biden's plan on this? Her answer was, Trump sucks. That seemed to be it. And yeah, she'd take 2.5 minutes, and then if Pence got to 1 minute and 59 seconds, she's like, thank you, Vice President. It's time for you to stop speaking now. Shrouded Angel, thank you. What are your thoughts on the moderator? From what I saw, she was letting Kamala get away with a lot of shit. She wasn't as and again, remember guys, I've only watched the first like 40 minutes of it. She wasn't as in Kamala's corner as Wallace was clearly in Biden's, or at least against Trump. But she certainly played favorites when it came time to interrupting them to shut them the hell up. The last thing I saw was actually where she goes to answer a question. I forget what the question is. And she goes, I thought these were debates and we need to be honest. And then she immediately lies, to which Pence corrects her on. And they have a little back and forth. And then Kamala goes on to talk. And the moderator's like, okay, we need to give Vice President a chance to answer. And Kamala goes, he interrupted me. Can I please have that time back? And then she talks for like 45 more seconds past what she should have anyway. And the moderator let her. So I don't know if it was that she's siding with the Democrats. I mean, that's certainly an inference you could make, given the fact that Kamala seems to have known what the topics were, and only Susan knew them.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, other than that, Johnny Hellcat, thank you. South Park's douche versus turd debate is just as prevalent today. Yeah.
Really is.
Most of these debates, that's what you get anyway. That's the fun of them. Corey, thank you. I burst out laughing when Pence said, when it comes to climate change, the climate is changing. I saw him say those words, and I don't remember if that was part of what I was watching. For the record, Jack, I'm in a shit ton of pain, and concentration is not my strong suit tonight.
That's fair.
Which is even more amazing that part jumped out to me, where that's an excellent segue. My bitch said, what? Did that bitch just say it's a great segue before she knew what it was?
My favorite part was when Pence dropped the facts don't care about your feelings line.
Oh, did he?
Opinion, but not entitled to your own facts, specifically, is what he said.
Nice.
2 or 3 times. It was great. I laughed so hard when I heard that.
Well, the part that I was talking about there, where he interrupts her, and because she specifically said, I thought we were going to talk about facts and stuff, and she immediately goes on to lie, and Pence corrects her. And it was funny because it threw her off her game, because when she goes back to talk, she obviously can't remember what she was supposed to say, so she has to work herself back into it. And then, I don't know if you guys noticed this, at the end of a lot of her answers, it was just, Donald Trump's going to kill you. She had like a little 15-second prepared, Donald Trump is going to kill you, for the end of all of her shit. So yeah, it was funny watching him just knock her off her games like that, or off her game. I wish he would have done it more. I would really like to see her debate Trump, because he would just make her insane.
Oh, I think she would freak out on him.
He would piss her off so much, she'd go incarcerate a lot of black people. Just saying. Okay, just before the show, Jack, I saw this from Mark Ruffalo. And it's something I've seen on several people in different forms. Just going over it in my head. The way Mike Pence constantly interrupted and spoke over Kamala Harris was a prime example of white male supremacy and its common dismal and disrespect for black women. Dismissal, sorry, not dismal. John, thank you. The mod is writing Pelosi's biography. Well, that makes sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
I can't remember if I liked that video or not. I don't think I did. There's a great video that replies. It wasn't meant to reply to Ruffalo specifically, but it addresses him and anyone else whining about how mean Pence was to her. God, where the fuck is that? It shouldn't be that far down. Nobody's up at this time of morning. It makes it pretty easy to find things that I missed that I wanted to grab. Except for tonight, because it's debate night and everybody's talking about a goddamn fly.
Fly is important.
Fly is not important. You know what is important, Jack? I'm going to pull this up on the screen.
If it's Mark Ruffalo shirtless, I'm going to punch you.
Oh, it's not. You'll like this a lot more. Look at that.
Oh. Well,
It's
hello,
Halloween
you
time.
naughty little girl.
I mean, her ass is too big for you, but otherwise she's cute. I mean,
yeah, she's cute from the waist up.
Yeah. That was on my timeline because I follow people who post stuff like that. Was that Ruffalo or the brain tumor tweeting? I'm not sure. He is such a little femmy bitch. Here's the video I wanted, right?
Polly made a really good point that Ruffalo seems to think that he's like George Clooney. Like he's on that level, and he's not.
You know, that's actually pretty astute.
Right?
Oh,
we were making fun of him earlier.
This is from during Lords of the Night. Oh, I wasn't there to get it. No one nowhere told me feel better soon. Thank you so much for that. God, I hope I do. Because fuck. All right. This video, I absolutely fucking love it. And I should have retweeted it. It would have made this a lot easier. Here we go.
Can I just say one more tiny thing, George? When I hear people talk about mansplaining and talk about these things with Kamala Harris and a man shouldn't interrupt her and it's going to look bad. Kamala Harris is a vice presidential candidate. She should be able to stand up for herself. Yes, it's history making. Yes, you can talk about her history and who she is, and she's a woman of color there. But a man can interrupt another vice presidential candidate. It is up to that candidate to talk back, to interrupt themselves, or to hold on to that debate in any way they could.
Yeah, exactly.
So she got fired.
Probably. That's the thing about this. When I see this, like we've had this kind of discussion so many times where you can't have it both ways. They can't be strong, independent woman who's just as capable as any man and be like, oh, look how that man treated her so horribly.
They can, but they're giant hypocrites for doing so.
They can try, but I'm gonna call them out when they do.
No, absolutely, you should.
And you got to pick one. Mark, is she just as capable of being vice president as Pence, or are you saying that she's too fucking weak to be one? Pick one. Because I guarantee you put a man in that same position, Pence would, a white man, pick the whitest man, and Pence would have interrupted the same way he did there. And actually, I bet he would have been a little bit harder. Because I don't know if you watched when they came out, Jack. It was Pence took his cues from Kamala.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
He did. Let me see if I can find that again. Bring it up. Because, when it comes to like when it's time to wave at the audience and all that. Here, hang on. I know about the time when it happens. Right? All right, she's talking. Pull this over here. Get it ready. Boom. And pull this up here. And share.
I'm Susan Page of USA Today. It is my honor to moderate this debate.
Now watch
an important
as
part of our democracy.
I should have muted this because
In
it doesn't
Kingsbury
matter.
Hall tonight,
Shut
we
up,
have
lady.
a small and socially distant.
There we go. She's talking about how they have a socially distanced thing, and that in a second she's going to tell us that they agree that the audience is only going to clap at the end and the beginning when the candidates come out as they are now. It was a really horrible segue into introducing the candidates. I'm going to use that word a lot tonight. But watch Mike Pence as they come out. It's I don't know if he's trying to be respectful or if he's just worried about how it's going to look in the press. Because watch, he comes out. There's lots of clapping going on. She waves. Like, okay, it's time for me to wave. Now watch for when they go for the seats. This is watch Pence specifically, because here in a second, he looks over at her. She moves a little bit. He moves. Stop. Wait. Oh, can we sit now? Am I loud? I mean, he took all of his cues there from her. He waited for her to do all of it. I don't know if that's like I said. I don't know if he's just trying to be polite or what. Keldrick, thank you. A white man, you say. So, Mr. Obama? Well, I'd love to go back. I don't remember how much crosstalk there was in the Pence-Kane debate. I know there was some. So the idea that he would check your logic says I never would have noticed that. I notice things. I'm a people watcher.
I would actually guess that he did that to avoid looking like he was trying to take control.
Yeah.
And
it was deliberate.
Yeah, I think it was. It was just so she can't say that, oh, look at him trying to take his seat first. Personally, I would have thought it was funny if he ran over and stole her chair.
Yes. Yeah, he either he's just, now I don't know. Again, I don't know if he's doing it for the camera or he's just being as chivalrous as possible as between plexiglass, you know?
Yeah.
But either way, it was a purposeful, respectful thing. Oh, he's so mean to her. Oh, shut the fuck up. She's a tough prosecutor who can't take it when somebody talks. Fuck right off. Seriously. Oh, man. Jack, that's our political world. These two are going to skate into office. You realize that, right?
Oh, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah. Trump is still not doing what he should be. I was watching his Twitter feed before I went into bed earlier today, and I'm like, oh God. I even tweeted out like, this is what I'm talking about, Mr. President. What the fuck are you doing? He said something to what was it? He said, they've been caught cheating. We deserve a run or we deserve another run. I'm like, you get another run because you can run twice. Has nothing to do with the rest of that. Stop sounding like a whiny bitch. How about we caught him, we'll prosecute him if you give us another 4 years. There you go. You want to fire up your base? Do that. Stop sounding like somebody hurt you. You still won. Did they screw you? Yeah, you still won. Act like it. Because he is acting a bit like a little bitch right now. That's going to piss some people off. But it's true. Stop whining, for fuck's sake. You don't deserve another term because people were mean to you and tried to end your term. You know what? You still made it through. You still got your term. You deserve another term if you're going to do things that the people want you to do, whether it's actually taking action or not taking action. We're not going to stack the court. That's something you're not going to do that the people would like to hear. We are going to finish that fucking wall. It's amazing how immigration has not been coming up.
Yeah.
So, Trump is doing fine. Get your shit together in your own pathetic life. I agree with the second part of that. But the first part, if you think Trump is doing fine, you're mistaken. You are very much mistaken. Trump, if you're honest about it, barely beat Hillary. 3 states. That's all it would have taken. 3 states. And we would have had a Hillary Clinton. And in those 3 states right now, he's not doing very well at all. What the latest Florida poll has him down 11. The latest Pennsylvania poll has him down 13.
Yeah, it's not looking good. If you're a Trump supporter, you better get out there and vote because if you don't, they're going to win.
Yeah. I just want you guys to prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
13, even that is like, okay, even for a skewed poll, that's fucking out there. That's a big number even for a skewed one, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Trump's fault. Right now, Trump isn't losing because Biden is doing well. Trump is losing because of Trump. Frank, thank you. Scribe and Satsu kept commenting on Pence interrupting and not obeying times. Others were saying he was being cut short. Thoughts on whether or not Pence was getting the full time. I believe the official time came in. She got like 3 minutes more than he did. Some people are making a big deal out of that. In the grand scheme of things, like I said, at the beginning, watching what happened, that moderator was letting Kamala go as long as she wanted and cutting Pence off a lot sooner. Pence still overtalked her for a little while, but she seemed much quicker to jump on him than Kamala. So 3 minutes over, what was it, an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like that much of a difference. But again, I haven't watched the whole thing. I've only watched the beginning, and like I said, to me, she seemed a little skewed towards Kamala.
Yeah, it was. But I think the important thing is that Pence's lines were more memorable.
Yeah, from what I saw, they were. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was actually answering questions a lot. And she was dancing around, I thought. And he's boring as wood, but if his lines are more memorable, saying, the line about the facts, you're not entitled to your own facts, that worked. It was very effective when he did it. He's a better debater.
I think you can judge by the media reaction, and so far, they've gone into full damage control mode for her.
Of course.
I think even they think she got spanked. Again, I haven't watched the whole thing. So you get cut, you get an extra 3 minutes over Pence, who, as you said, boring as fuck. I mean, this dude is just dry. And he's got the more memorable lines to where even the media is trying to cover for your ass. Yeah, you probably lost. But again, I haven't seen it all. I can't make a full judgment. But to what I was talking about, Trump needs to, if Trump wants to win this thing, we are a month out. He still has time, guys. He still has time. Some voting has already started. I think I saw something said like 6,000 or 13,000, something like that, votes already cast. That's nothing in an election where likely 120 million people will vote. And there's a lot. There's so many people who voted already. No, they haven't. Most people don't early vote. Most people don't vote by mail. The majority of them will come on election day, and we'll see then. Trump has time to turn it around, guys. Right now, if the election were today, he would lose, and probably lose big. I'm sorry, bigly. Gotta say it like Trump. He would lose bigly, and that's a shame. That's a shame because Biden is a fucking horrible candidate. Even if you take off the fact that he is extremely out of it. This dude, I'm willing to say Alzheimer's. I'm willing to say that. But there's so many other things on this guy that you could be doing that they're not. There's so much negative on this guy that they are not using. And right now they're doing what Hillary did. They're pulling all of their advertising from the Midwest. The same flyover country, the place that gave Trump the presidency. Why would you be cutting your advertising there? I would cut every fucking ad I had in California and New York.
Oh, absolutely. He's not going to win those by any stretch.
No, he's got no fucking chance there. Pour all of that money into Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania like they did in 2016.
Yep.
And every bit of it just hammering every bad thing known about Joe Biden. And there's a lot. There's a lot. Point out the fact that he's a liar, that he did the crime bill, that he's known to be kind of nice to racists. There's a lot of dirty stuff you could do in there. And this is I love that part of politics, Jack. I know people I hate dirty politics. Fuck you. I love it. I think it's fucking great. get in the mud and roll around and have a good time. Yeah, and tell them what you'll do too. I love that they always like, well, we need more positive advertising. You know why they don't use positive advertising? It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not effective.
It's not effective. Every other metric, and I mean every other metric, it contradicts the polls. If the polls are shown to be massively wrong, I will be in no way surprised. Give me a metric. Give me a metric that you're talking about. Give me the metric that shows Trump is ahead. You want a good metric that Trump's not doing well? He just pulled his advertising from the Midwest. That is basically a admission of defeat right there.
I get what some people are saying, that it's already in the bag for him, and that may be, but you don't want to let people be complacent and think that you don't have to talk to those guys, because you're going to alienate them, and that gives your enemy an opportunity to come in and win those states. That's the last thing you want, is people buying into the negative press. I'm telling you, you can't get comfortable in this election. If no matter who you're supporting, you got to get out and vote for your candidate, or they're not going to win.
Faithless says enthusiasm. How exactly do you measure enthusiasm? Evolved Potato, thank you. What counts as official minutes? Who counts them? Like if Pence talks over Kamala, does that count as Pence or Kamala's? And on the inverse, if Kamala talks over Pence, does that count the same as the way as the other? Or is it minutes counted? Or is the minute counting biased? I have no idea how they count the minutes. Usually it's actual speaking time. So talking over, that would be counted. Yeah. Rally attendance, parades. Once again, you can't really judge Joe Biden's rallies by what we see, because they purposefully keep them small. That's why they have the little circles drawn where one person can sit. When he goes somewhere, there's not room for a whole bunch of people there. So it's not a fair metric. This isn't a normal election year. Joe Biden's, it's very much like our economy. He's purposefully depressed his turnout at rallies. He shut down the rallies, basically. As for enthusiasm, I don't think people are enthused about voting for Biden.
No, they're enthused about voting for not Trump.
Yes, and that's what Trump is playing up, or what Biden is playing up.
Yeah.
It's not purposely, yeah, right. No, seriously. They have very limited attendance at them. They look at them. What do you think those circles on the ground are for? It's not where they're going to be showing the spotlights.
Yeah, don't get overconfident. Seriously, be sure and tell people, your friends, to go out and vote. If you're a Trump supporter, you should be a little nervous. It doesn't look that great right now, and you have to make sure that your people are going to go vote. Mm-hmm. Don't get complacent, because there's a lot of people that be like, he's got this in the bag, and they just won't go vote.
Yeah, look, I very much could be wrong, Jack. This is an opinion. This is an opinion based on what I'm seeing, and when even the president's son is out there, the silent majority, they think a whole bunch of people are just too afraid to tell pollsters that that's how they're voting. They're too afraid to put Trump signs in the yard because they'll get harassed, and that might be true. But
you don't want to run your campaign that way.
Polls being off by 13%, that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I don't know. The polls make me a little nervous because they are such a massive difference. But yeah. I don't trust the news media either. So I'm of the opinion that it could go either way right now, because there's so much skewing going on and so much dishonesty. It's kind of hard to tell. So I would just say, do everything you can to support your candidate and encourage people to vote for that candidate. And I want Trump to win, but you have to be prepared for if he loses, because there's going to be a lot of rigging, a lot of dead people voting. You're probably going to see some violence from Antifa and some of the other groups. There's going to be a lot of reasons for people not to go to the polls or to have their vote changed. So you have to really kind of play this like it's going to be a dead heat and hope for the best.
Dangerous says they literally had to duplicate viewers during the DNC. Yeah, we saw that. You can't find 20 Biden supporters to fill a screen. Biden's live stream numbers are pathetic. They are. But like I said, I don't think people are going to vote Biden because they really like Biden. There was no
their nose.
There was no enthusiasm for Biden all throughout the primaries. Even back then, you didn't have enthusiastic Biden supporters. They just went out and voted Biden because they didn't want the others, which is weird. I mean, a lot of that has to do with the fact that the others didn't get near the equal time. Tulsi not getting some more time, especially after she basically defeated Kamala by herself, is one of the biggest travesties of our political system.
Yeah. Well, look, I fully admit I'm going to vote for Trump. I've said that a couple times now. I'm still going to vote for him because Kamala Harris scares me. I think she's a very dangerous person that wants power, and that's the last person you should let have power.
Did you see Boogie? Oh my God, where's that at? I don't follow Boogie, but this showed
I try
up
not to see Boogie because
this showed up on my timeline. I forget who retweeted it. I have to say, I was going into this debate. I had no real idea who Kamala Harris was. I just knew she was once a prosecutor, which, by the way, he says with a question mark. She certainly demanded respect, and if I may say, made me feel much safer about my vote for their ticket. Well, it would be her. That's good, because if you're voting that way, you're really voting for her. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But then she said this. Demanded respect, or he said this, demanded respect isn't right. She earned it. Can she just run for president instead of Joe? I don't like everything she said, but I liked enough. Like, Boogie, she ran for president.
Yeah. And could he be any more of a pussy?
Or stupid? Dude, she ran for president.
Can we just admit that he's kind of dumb?
He's very dumb, and he really should stop talking about politics because he doesn't know what the fuck he says. Look, these guys might disagree with me about how Trump is doing, but I can back up my position on why I think that. Boogie didn't even know this bitch ran for president.
Yeah, well,
and he's gonna cancel out one of y'all's votes there in Arkansas,
which is all the more reason everybody should go out and vote.
Yep.
Look, I'm gonna vote for Trump. I've said it before. I'll say it again, but it doesn't look good right now to me. I think there's too much going on, too much bad press just weighing down on him.
Yep.
And we live in a very small category of YouTube that actually talks about the issues and what people are saying. And if you look out at the normal people that work real jobs and do like machining and grown-up stuff, I don't know what real people do. They have no idea of what's really going on behind the scenes and all the in-depth stuff unless they're watching strong political analysis or like us. So they're not getting the full picture most of the time. They're getting the mainstream media.
What's your name says, is Boogie really going to jail? And Herb says, for sure he's going to jail. He shot at a dude while he was under no threat. Two things. One, he's probably going to jail, but it has nothing to do with shooting at the guy or shooting when there was no threat. He has that right in Arkansas. It's shooting a fucking warning shot while living in a city.
Yeah,
dumbass.
Reckless discharge, man. That's just dumb. Now, I've been hearing people say that was staged. Do you think it was staged?
Not if he really pulled that trigger.
Yeah, I don't think it was staged, but I think he was stupid for doing that.
Yeah. If that was a real bullet that came out of that gun, no. Could they have staged it? Sure. But yeah, I don't think so. They seem to have an actual real dislike of each other. Editor says, oh, what happened? Some guy was giving Boogie shit, showed up in Boogie's town, and then showed up at Boogie's house. Boogie came to the door with a revolver, told him to get the fuck off his property, and fired a warning shot, which he lives in city limits, which almost every city has a rule against discharging a weapon, except in self-defense. Oops.
Real quick, thank you, the Harry Channel, for the donation. Because of the Electoral College, my vote doesn't count. I would vote Libertarian to motivate them and help them get matching funds next time. But they are running a terrible ticket. Vermin Supreme wears a boot on his head and is their VP pick. Screw that. I understand that, but if you're still voting for like even like the Libertarian or Green Party or whatever, you're still out there voting.
Yep.
And that's what you should do.
Yep.
Even if your team isn't going to win, get out there, because then if we get enough people voting third party instead of people I hate, then maybe they get in the debates next time, which would be nice. But they need those votes in order for that to happen. And Vermin Supreme is a delight. They're dangerous. You bring up a good point that a lot of people are doing research online, but there's also a lot of people not doing research online. They're watching porn or playing video games. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but most of my friends are still pretty oblivious. That's a small anecdotal margin, I'll give you that. But I don't know. I really don't know where this is going at this point. I just want people to go out and do their civic thing and vote. Am I in your house? No, I am not in your house that you know of.
I don't care if you don't vote as long as you do it because you have objections to all the things that are on the ballot. But you also have to remember, when you say you're not going to vote, there's more than just the presidential election.
Yeah.
Most years you're going to have a Senate election because senators elected for 6 years, so that there's usually a time that you'll go to vote for the president where you won't be voting for a senator, but you're always voting for a representative. You're always voting for your state legislature. Sometimes you're voting for your governor. There's always ballot initiatives.
Yeah.
I say go vote. You don't have to fill out the presidential thing. You can skip that. Be like, I don't like none of these fuckers. No.
Yeah, but vote on those property taxes and school levies and stuff like that. They sneak a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. And you want to talk about things that really affect you? It's those.
Yeah.
It's not the president. The president's actions affect you on a minuscule level. Well,
compared to local, they affect you just not on that like interpersonal level that like your mayor and police chief and judges and shit like that do. And those tax initiatives, you gotta watch those sneaky bastards.
You want to end up with a prosecutor like they got up there in Portland?
Exactly. Oh, have you seen Ted Wheeler's opposition?
No.
She's an Antifa supporter.
Of course she is.
She might win the primary. She had this skirt thing on with Che Guevara on it.
What's your name says, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Rush. But again, I don't think you should do it out of laziness. I know too many people are like, I just don't vote. Like, well, fuck you, then you're an asshole. Those are the people I think are abandoning their civic responsibility. I don't think you have to vote. I just think if you're not going to vote, it should be based on knowledge, not on laziness.
Yeah, if you're like, I don't know anything about these people, then yeah, okay. But if you're like, I just don't want to go all the way to the polling center,
I'm going to have to stand there for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I've never had to wait more than like 10 minutes.
Right. Dude, where I live, the longest I've had to wait was 2. And I was like, can I get in there yet? Come on. I get that. Where I go to vote, Jack, I am the youngest usually by like 30 years when I'm in there. Yeah. I recommend you do vote, though. At least go. Skip the parts you don't know. Like, you'll also vote for the regents for your state colleges. Those are things that are voted for. So make sure you go. I mean, seriously, there's a lot more than just the president on that ballot. Paul says, wow, you're very young. Most of the people that I vote with are prime COVID dying age. These people are old as fuck, man. Some of them show up in cars from the 50s, and it's not because they like to show them off at car shows. They just haven't bought a new one since.
They didn't need to. Those cars lasted.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They keep them, they obviously polish them. But, yeah. Or you get the one farmer in the old 50s Ford truck. It's all rusted to shit, but it still hangs together.
You are a stereotype.
In California, you'll have the opportunity to repeal civil rights laws. Look, if you guys do nothing else for the election, start looking up what the ballot initiatives are in your area. Those affect you far more than the president will.
Yeah, and some of them are pretty nasty, too. You got to watch that stuff. They will sneak anything through that they can. Seriously, do your homework. It pays off.
Ken Lee says the president is not in my voter's guide in California. Well, there were some people who got their ballots and the president wasn't included. That was confirmed, Jack. And supposedly those people are getting another ballot. Huh.
Yeah, weird. I wonder how many others snuck through they didn't know about.
Yeah. Anyway.
A lot of games going on this year.
Don't forget, we are brought to you by you.
All
Just
right.
need a second. One of them days, Jack.
We are not on the ballot, but we are brought to you by you. And we are here all the time. So if you can, support us by clicking the like button, share it on social media, throw us a donation on the Streamlabs if you can afford it, or support us on Patreon, or buy something nice from the Teespring store for yourself or someone you love and or hate.
Thank you for
That's good of a pitch as I can do.
You did very well. I appreciate it. All right. This is the New York Times. If you don't have a subscription, you only get like one or two per month that you're allowed to look at.
Yeah, something ridiculous like that.
I have a subscription because, well, it's my job.
That's a tax deduction too.
Yeah. I have them and WAPO, man. They're the only two I subscribe to. And you know why I do it? I do the Washington Post because they're the most cited news source.
Yeah, they're like CNN in print.
Everybody cites them. So I got that one. And I have this one because I disagree with pretty much everybody that works at the New York Times.
Well, yeah.
So gives me something fun to do from time to time. So first up in their fact check, Mike Pence said, under President Trump's leadership, Operation Warp Speed, we believe we will have literally tens of millions of doses of the vaccine before the end of this year. To which they've decided that is misleading.
What?
That is misleading. Now I want to read back what he said one more time. We believe we will have literally tens of millions. How can you say what somebody believes is misleading?
I don't know.
Unless you have proof he doesn't believe that is true.
Well, that's the misleading part, I guess.
Now, you might be able to say he may believe that, but here's what the rest of the evidence says. That would be fine. But just taking that quote and saying it's misleading is misleading.
Maybe they meant themselves.
Could be. They go on to say, though it is expected vaccine development program Operation Warp Speed, the Trump administration is already funding manufacturing of millions of doses of coronavirus vaccine and has contracts with 5 drug makers that have vaccine candidates in late-stage trials. But one of the 5, Pfizer, has said that it could have initial results this month, and the Food and Drug Administration published guidelines this week for evaluating emergency authorizations that delayed why it could take at least several months for the company to clear the bar.
What do they mean by several? 2, 3?
Well, it
11?
goes on to say Dr. Fauci and other top health officials said that evidence of the vaccine's effectiveness could be available by November or December. So it's still possible.
Yeah.
But we're still talking about what they believe is possible. We believe. He didn't say we will have. And that is a very important difference. And this is why I hate these fact-checking fucks. They're such nitpicky little dickbags.
Yeah, they're disingenuous and take everything on a very particular context because it goes their way that way.
Yep. All right. Next up, also from Pence. Are you shocked that so far they're both about Pence?
Nope.
We've already added back 11.6 million jobs because we had a president who cut taxes, rolled back regulation, unleashed American energy, fought for free and fair trade, and secured $4 million from Congress for the United States to give direct payments to families. This is misleading. Oh my fucking God. I told the audience before you got here, Jack, I scrolled through a couple of these, and I think I only found one, maybe two, where they go true or false. All of the others are, this needs context.
This needs our context so you understand it, plebeian.
Well, this one it pissed me off. All right. It is true that the economy has added back a lot of jobs since the depth of the pandemic, regaining about 11.4 million of the 22 lost between February and April. But that rebound had relatively little to do with Mr. Trump's policies. There's no proof of that. People came back to work quickly because they had been temporarily furloughed as states and cities shut down amid the virus. This is the part that pisses me off. Because they never point out, and neither did the moderator when she asked this question, because this is part that I saw. She didn't go, the virus caused 22 million people to lose their jobs. They never attributed to that. It's always, Trump made us lose the jobs. But now that the jobs are coming back, well, it's only because, they let people go back to work. Well, yeah, really? It's almost like some of us said that would happen.
Right?
But you can't say that what Trump had set up with the economy before that didn't help make those jobs come back faster. You have no proof of that. None.
No, it's sheer speculation on their part.
When you look at the economy, actually, not just speculation, it probably wrong speculation. Because if you look at the economy before this all shut down, it was firing on all cylinders to the point where Democrats were literally praying for it to crash.
Yeah. Yeah. They wanted a depression. And here they are trying to make one.
Maybe, just maybe, he set it up so that when they finally let people go back to work, the economy could get back to where it was. Just throwing that out there.
That's a possibility, I suppose.
Now, this is in regards to the ceremony to announce Amy Coney Barrett as the Supreme Court Justice nominee. Mike Pence said this, by the way. This is 3 for Pence. 3. It was an outdoor event, which all of our scientists regularly, routinely advise. False. Now, this isn't going to be false why you might think it would be.
It's going to be dumber.
Much dumber. It was an outdoor event to which all our scientists regularly, routinely advise. You would think that she's going to correct him. Well, the scientists don't actually say that. No, that's not what she goes for. Mr. Pence was referring to a gathering at the White House on September 26th. No. Stop right there, you lying bitch. Trump was answering a question about that event. He was referring to it, sure, but if you're going to be honest, he was specifically asked about that event and where people had put up pictures and circled the people who've gotten COVID. And he was answering about that. It was an outdoor event, which, by the way, he attended. Doesn't have the COVID. But what was she said? A cluster. They call it a cluster of people. This person goes on. Mr. Trump formally announced the nomination in the Rose Garden, where many of the attendees flouted the recommendations of public health experts by not wearing masks or social distancing. But there was also a private reception indoors, where photos show attendees mingling in close quarters without wearing masks.
Dun, dun, dun.
The pictures we see of them with the clusters encircling, those aren't the indoor pictures. It's the outdoor pictures.
Yeah, so some of those people may not have been at the indoor one.
And whether you say the part about them not wearing masks or social distancing, that's true. They didn't. But he specifically was talking about it being outdoors, which is recommended.
Yeah.
That's just fact.
Yeah.
He answered the question factually.
That they asked him. Yeah.
And these fuckers, the first time they give us a real true or false, get it wrong.
Yeah.
Who fact checks the fact checkers? Next up, Jack. We finally have one that's actually towards Kamala, but it was something Pence said.
Oh, of course it was.
You've refused to answer the question. Joe Biden has refused to answer the question. This is in regards to whether or not they will stack the court.
Yep.
And Pence saying that they've refused to answer the question is rated true. Oh, we got one right.
Shit.
We got one right.
Well, they got to throw a 1 in there so they don't look like total liars.
They actually did one correctly for a change. Going on. Guess who they're checking this time?
Pence.
Did you read this already?
No.
Okay.
It just seems like the way they would do it.
It's shocking. Shocking. They're all Pence. Now, maybe they break this up and later they do Kamala.
Yeah, right.
We'll see.
Oh, glorious angel that she is. She did nothing wrong.
The climate is changing. The issue is, what is the cause and what do we do about it? President Trump has made clear we're going to continue to listen to the science. This is misleading. Oh, for fuck's sake. Pence's suggestion there that there remains a question about the chief causes of suggests there remains questions about the chief cause of climate change. But the established scientific consensus is conclusive.
Oh, fucking hate that answer.
That's not science. That's literally not science. That's taking a poll.
Yeah. Is there really anything conclusively solved in science? Because everything can be subject to testing. Maybe with new technology, they'll learn something new, like the Earth isn't flat kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because that used to be scientific consensus.
There's scientific consensus that is proven wrong all the time. It doesn't make it true. And we've gotten to the point with global warming where you're not even allowed to question it.
Oh, no.
Not allowed to.
It's a religion.
Yeah. They actually refer to you as a denier.
Yeah. Might as well just say heretic.
Right.
Get it over with.
That blasphemer. Oh, my God. But the question was whether or not Trump was going to listen to the science. And they say nothing in here about Trump not saying he was going to do that.
I don't know if you saw that part when Pence addressed that, because he said the climate is changing.
Yeah.
If he had followed that up with a dead stare right at the camera and said, winter is coming, I would have lost my shit.
He kind of looks like the White Walkers.
I know, right? He's got that like deadpan look. He could pull that off, and I think people would have loved it, but probably not effective for a grown-up debate.
And yes, the climate is changing. That is known. Yeah. Most people won't deny that.
No, it was really warm when the dinosaurs were walking around. Then we had these ice age things. Yeah, climate changes. That doesn't mean it's man-made. How much is man-made? That's what we're really arguing about. It's that's a whole thing I'll get started on if I'm not careful.
We finally have one from Harris.
Oh, shit.
The president said it was a hoax. I'm going to give you a guess here, Jack. How do you think they rated this?
They rated that true, even though it's been debunked several times.
Not true.
What?
It's misleading.
Oh.
Instead of saying it's outright false, which it is.
Yeah. We can't do that.
I saw some idiot today was arguing. This one chick I follow on Twitter made some remark about Kamala during the debate. And this person shot back. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying. This person shot back with, you're not allowed to say that when you said the virus was a hoax. She's like, when the fuck did I say it was a hoax? And this idiot, he posts this article about stupid shit people believe. And one of the things is that they believe climate, or that the president said, or that the virus is a hoax. The president never called it a hoax. The only people who've ever called it a hoax are the Democrats and the media when they're saying he called it a hoax. Never happened. And they keep doing this misleading thing, or like over on Snopes where they called it partially true or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
No, he never. The virus is a hoax, misleading. No, it never happened. Now, if you want to go in there and say false, he said the Democrats are a hoax. Fine, that's fine.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, saying that it's misleading is a lie. It is an outright lie. And they keep doing that. And they keep doing it so that they can keep that lie alive. Monkey, do you have any of Grandpa's medicine around? You know I do. I do. And we're
One thing. Oh, sorry.
We're almost to the point of me taking it. Go ahead, man.
One of the things they also don't point out that's contradictory is they talk about the climate science all the time and how it's settled science and all this. It's settled colonialist science. How do we know that a wizard didn't hex the earth, the entire earth, a really powerful necromancer didn't hex the earth?
It's possible.
Exactly. They can't prove it didn't happen because they're using colonialist science. So we need to decolonize climate science and see what the shamans think.
Next up, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. By the way, Jack, I was laughing. It just hurts to do so.
That's okay. Yeah, Magog did it.
That fucker.
He's always up to something.
Biden and Kamala supporting taxpayer-funded abortion all the way up to the moment of birth is rated exaggerated.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, my God. Biden and Harris support abortion rights, but that does not mean they call for women to have an unfettered right to terminate pregnancy right up until the point of birth. Mr. Pence may have been referring to a debate over a bill proposed last year by Democrats in the Virginia legislature would have made it easier for women to obtain abortions late in pregnancy, even if the mother's physical health or safety were at risk. No. Back up a bit. She lied about this part.
Yep.
It was that part. The reason that was such a big deal, we know Democrats support that.
Yeah.
The reason that became such a big deal is that woman said, even if it was for the mother's mental health.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to say, yeah, that mom should die in childbirth,
Right?
Like, it's one of those things that is somebody who's very anti-abortion, me. I have trouble with that. I don't know if I could tell a mom, like, look, I know you might die, but is what it is. That's a moral quandary for me, Jack. So most people aren't like that, but they weren't even talking about that. They were talking about mental health.
Yeah.
The guy specifically asked her repeatedly, but for mental health, right? And she's like, well, yeah, this is all the way up to, yeah, I get that. But for mental health, that was the big part there. But I mean, I don't know what Joe and Kamala's stance is on abortion right up until birth. But for instance, Joe Biden said during a recent NBC televised town hall meeting in Miami that if Roe were overturned, his only response to that is pass legislation making Roe the law of the land. Okay, that's fine. How far? What are your limitations on abortion? That's a question they're never asked. If you had the choice, if you could either make it abortion right up until the moment of birth or put a stop on it after the first trimester, where do you stand? Ask them.
They're not going to ask him tough questions like that.
Guess who they're fact checking this time?
Pence.
You got it again.
It's like I'm good at this.
You're so, I feel like we should be doing that Karnak thing that
Carson used to do.
Carson used to do.
Real fast though, before you get to that, thank you, Frank, for the donation. During the dinosaur era, it was an average of 10 degrees warmer with half the CO2 level. If CO2 was as much of an effect as they claim, suicide would be warmer. I know. No, and methane. I think that's supposed to be O2, and methane play a role too, but most ignore them. Or NOx. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I mean, look, things were a lot different during different ages, and we had like the little ice age, we had the big ice age. There's been a lot of fluctuations in the weather, so I don't think they really know what's going on. They're just guessing half the time.
The most abundant greenhouse gas is simply water vapor.
Yeah.
And the warmer it gets, the more water vaporizes, the more of it goes into our atmosphere. It is a self-feeding loop.
Yep.
And it's happened before. It'll happen again. And we will go into an ice age again. We're fairly certain it'll happen. It's happened to the Earth a dozen times or more.
Yeah. Well, you know what trees really love? CO2.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to bring up. I just want to remind everybody that these scientists who are telling us we cannot question them told us that Al Gore's movie didn't come to fruition because they forgot to account for plants breathing CO2.
Yeah. How smart are you if you forget like one of the core things of life on Earth?
It's just, I mean, fucking idiots. Anyhow.
And it was a slideshow, let's be honest.
Yeah, it was.
Movie.
It
was a videotape slideshow.
Somebody got very mad at me back in, I think it was like 2010, because there was another real big push around then with the climate shit. And I told him, like, you guys know why they're pushing this so hard right now, right? Because, well, all their numbers are coming up and nothing's going to shit like they told us it would. They have to scare you into this action before they lose the chance to. And they're like, no, like, I'm still waiting for New York City to be underwater. That shit ain't happened. We are 10 years on. We are from the first prediction of the point of no return was 1989.
Yeah. I remember there was a piece in like 60 Minutes or Dateline or one of those where they were showing people like stealing shit off shelves and like, oh, we're going to be fighting each other in the dark future of like 2005.
Yes. And sea levels have risen a little bit, but you want to see something interesting? You can see this from Google. I forget where it's at, but right off one of the European coasts, you can see a city underwater. You can see it. It's like under, 5, 10, 15 feet of water, something like that. It's just off the coast that sea levels rise.
Yeah, the coastline changes. Erosion does that. Lots of things cause that. But if it was this, first of all, take a bunch of ice and put it in a bowl and watch what happens, because this mystery thing occurs where when water is frozen, it expands and then it returns back to its original shape.
No, I'm not talking about Venice, and no, it's not Atlantis. Some people think it might be the island that they thought Atlantis was.
Oh, there's a city in India that got revealed that because it's buried underwater, that got exposed during that big tsunami that hit the Philippines.
Oh yeah,
remember that? It was legendary. But it's right next to the city of the same name. I can't pronounce it or think of it right now. But the water receded enough they could see the ruins.
Yeah,
that was really cool because there's video and photos of it.
Think about the fact that the North American ice sheet, it wasn't like 3 inches thick. We are talking huge. The estimates are, I mean, even mid skyscraper height in some of them.
Yeah.
All of that water had to come from somewhere.
Space. It's space water.
And when it melted, it filled the oceans back up.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's get back to our fact check here.
Yeah. Sorry, I took you on a long tangent there.
No, the climate is changing. It always changes. Whether we are playing a role is an important question, but it's also an important question. If we're not playing a role, what is and what can we do about it? How can we prepare? We have never been more prepared for a what they call a cataclysmic event than we are right now.
Yeah,
And
that
if
should
we-
scare all of you.
Yeah, and if we don't take precautions, we're not going to be. We'll be just like our ancestors who were like, "Fuck, is that coming from the sky?" Mighty
We
Balzac,
pissed off a shaman.
Mighty Balzac, thank you. Climate scientists say, "Oh yeah, name 5 of them." Well, usually they don't say climate scientists; they'll say scientist. Scientists agree, because there is something to that. 97% of scientists agree with global warming. If you look at it, they're not climate scientists. It was like a poll that was taken of like high school teachers and anybody who had a science degree of some kind. They're like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anybody whose funding was reliant on answering yes.
Oh, those people, yeah, they are. That's another thing that I love about it. Like, if anybody speaks out, they get their money from the oil industry. Like, oh, yeah.
So their thoughts don't count because of their job.
The Harry Channel, thank you. I registered for the draft and to vote on my 18th birthday. I'm in my 50s now. Never missed an election. Don't be weak. Vote. Fair enough. And I'm sorry I missed that when that came through. That was like at 3:38. I am so sorry I missed that. Once again, the fucking thing only is alerting me to donations here. I have to go look on the other one. It's their service, for fuck's sake. Streamlabs, fix your shit.
I haven't got a notification since like day 3 of having it.
And 1984 just said no grants for climate deniers. That's part of what I'm getting at there. If you want a grant in science in any kind of climate field, you better be saying you believe in climate change.
Oh, yeah.
Man-made climate change.
Yeah, it's probably on a bunch of non-related ones, too.
And it is a lucrative business.
Oh, absolutely. Just like the carbon offsets.
Go look up at the guys who first came up with this theory, Mann and his crew. These fucking shitbags peer-reviewed their own work.
Of course they did.
A couple of them dropped out after about halfway through so they could peer review it. Yeah. Okay, back to our fact check here. President Trump and I are fighting every day in courthouses to prevent Joe Biden and Kamala Harris from changing the rules and creating this universal mail-in voting that will create a massive opportunity for voter fraud. This is misleading. This is misleading. Voter fraud in the United States is extremely rare. He didn't say it happened. Do they know what massive opportunity means?
Probably not.
Because I've seen this a lot with this argument. Like, look, there's not much voter fraud. Well, maybe that's because of the way we're doing it. Maybe, and look, I've said before, I have no problem with mail-in voting. I do have a problem with rushing mail-in voting, especially when they tell us that states who have mail-in voting, it took them years to put the system in place. It wasn't over one election. I believe in Colorado, it took like 3 or 4 elections before it was fully there to everybody. They did it slowly and measured to make sure that the system was okay. And they're talking about doing it. The call for mail-in voting really started around March. So what is March to November? 8 months? Forcing it through in 8 months with no real protections. Whether or not there's been fraud doesn't mean there won't be fraud. Nobody steals until somebody does, Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh God, this is a horrible piece. Oh, Jesus fuck. Guess who's next?
Pence.
History records that Joe Biden actually opposed the raid against Osama bin Laden. Mike Pence. This is misleading. Biden has offered shifting accounts of how he counseled then President Barack Obama. They actually wrote that. That's not me saying it. That's them writing it. Guys, we're brought to you by you. If you enjoy what we say, please hit that like button. Please share. And please donate to Jack and I for Motrin, because Jesus fuck.
Yeah, this is giving me a headache.
It is clear that he was more skeptical than most other Obama administration officials about the May 2011 operation that killed bin Laden. But saying that he opposed the raid outright, as Pence also did at the National Convention, is at best a selective interpretation of available evidence. Okay. All right. I don't even know what to do with that one.
I have no idea.
Okay. This next one. Oh, Jesus fuck. I'm not even going to ask you. It's Biden again. Or, sorry, it's Pence again.
Pence, yeah.
We were able to reinvent testing. More than 115 million tests have been done to date. This is mostly true. Oh my God. According to the COVID tracking project, more than 111 million coronavirus tests have been performed in the United States since January, but the nation is still falling short of its 1.3 million tests per day. He didn't say fuck all about that.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with what's going on.
While the absolute number of tests being done is high, so too are cases of the virus, which has infected more than 7.4 million people in the States. Many tests have also come under scrutiny for delivering inaccurate results, including rapid tests deployed at the White House, where officials relied too heavily on the products to protect top officials from infection.
What do you want them to rely on?
None of that contradicts anything he said.
No, it's got nothing to do with most of it.
Literally none of it.
These people are stupid.
Well, that's okay. That's not true. When she said the number that had been done, that is relevant and proves that it's absolutely true.
Yeah, well, that's a hate fact.
I hate these people. Oh, we got a Harris one.
Oh.
I'm not even going to read it yet.
Oh.
Not even going to read it yet. I'm going to ask you to guess whether a statement from Harris is going to be, what have we had so far? True, false, mostly true, misleading, or whatever. What do you think the New York Times is going to declare her statement?
Either true or mostly true.
Pew, this is her speaking. Pew, a reputable research firm, has done an analysis that shows that leaders of all our formerly allied countries have now decided they hold in greater esteem and respect the head of the Chinese Communist Party than they do Donald Trump, the president of the United States. True.
Oh, yeah, I knew it.
A survey published this month by the Pew Research Center found that few respondents had confidence in either country's leader, but the Western Europeans put more faith in Xi Jinping, the president of the Communist Party, Secretary of China. Across 14 countries, a median of 19% they said they had confidence in him, and 17 say the same of Trump.
That just tells me that Europeans are stupid.
I would say that she should have clarified that they were an analysis. They did a poll of people who live there.
Dumb people.
Yeah. It's Europe, man.
Yeah, I don't care. There's some smart people in Europe. We've seen them in our chat, but
just take the UK for an example. Their conservative party is our moderate Democrats.
yeah,
That's their conservative party.
Well, that's because they've been able to be cushy and comfortable because they haven't been paying us to defend them like we've been for 60 some years.
And yeah, I'm with you. I was just about to say that, Eagle. I don't give a fuck what the world says. They can kiss my ass.
Yeah, we're America. We don't give a fuck what everybody else thinks of us.
We have another one from Harris that is also rated true. Donald Trump has talked at least 6 times to Vladimir Putin and never brought up the subject. Talking about the CIA assessment on the bounties on American soldiers. Donald Trump has not condemned or warned Vladimir Putin of Russia over CIA assessment that Russian military intelligence services covertly offered bounties for the killing of American troops, or, well, coalition troops, including Americans. Trump said that he did not bring up the report during a phone call with the Russian leader after it was released. Mr. Trump has called reports of the bounties a hoax, but the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, took them seriously enough to warn his Russian counterpart. Mr. Trump and Putin have actually spoken 7 times since Mr. Trump was provided with written briefings in February about the bounties, twice in joint calls with the King of Saudi Arabia. They do know things happen on those phone calls that we don't hear about.
Yeah, I would think so.
We do. This came up during the Ukraine thing. There's actually a special classified computer that the transcripts of those calls go into.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, it's common sense that there's a lot of stuff that would be on those calls that we're not going to hear. But does the press understand that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
We have another one from Miss Harris. You want to guess how this one was rated?
Rated true.
Donald Trump, the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, prefers to take the word of Vladimir Putin over the word of American intelligence community. True.
Weapons of mass destruction? We're not spying on you? I don't know why he wouldn't trust them. Real fast, though. Thank you, Frank, for the donation. NOx is nitrogen oxide, one of these, quote, worst greenhouse gas emissions. Also off of West Coast, they found 10 to 13,000-year-old native site under 100 feet of water. Also, at one point, Africa and Europe were connected at Spain and Morocco. Yeah, plate tectonics shifts everything around. I did not know that was nitrogen oxide, but now I do. Learned something new. But yeah, the plates shift. The whole thing shifts around. Islands disappear or forged. It's an ever-changing world. I don't understand why that's hard to grasp.
Guys, thank you so much for donations to us. You guys are truly amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We always say it at the end of the show, but seriously, guys, it's awesome of you.
This is our job.
Ms. Harris was referring to the president's history of challenging the conclusions of the intelligence agencies that Russia interfered in the 2016 election with an effort to help him. Do you remember when there were the ones that showed that they were actually just trying to sow chaos because they had ones for Hillary too?
Yeah.
Nobody talks about that anymore.
No, why would they? That'd be bad for the Democrats. Hurts the narrative.
In 2018 in Helsinki, Mr. Trump stood next to Vladimir Putin of Russia and made clear that he believed Mr. Putin's denial that Russia had meddled on his behalf. They said they think it's Russians, Mr. Trump said. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. He added, I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be. Russia that was responsible for election hacking. Mr. Trump said that Mr. Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
They do know that we need to have some kind of relationship with Russia, right? That we don't want to start a world war with them because they have nukes, lots of them.
Why was it okay in 2008, well, actually 2009, for the reset button? And we're making Barack Obama actually came out and he's like, we need to think nicer about Russia. And now it's like, Russia sucks again.
Yeah. And didn't Obama say to Romney that the 80s wants their politics back?
Yes.
Something along those lines when he said that Russia's a geopolitical enemy.
Yep.
And now it's Russia.
Meanwhile, we're ignoring the fuck out of the communist Chinese.
Yeah. With their concentration camps of Uyghur Muslims.
They're taking over of Hong Kong. Their threats to Taiwan.
Yeah, the stealing of our intellectual properties.
Firing missiles over Japan.
Yeah, building fake islands so they can claim the thoroughfares of business. There's a lot going on in the world that's being ignored because of this stupid bullshit narrative that they can't let go of, even though it's been debunked tons of times. It's disgusting.
This one's from Pence. According to all of the best estimates, our air and land are cleaner than any time ever recorded. Our water is among the cleanest in the world. Mostly true.
No, they actually were kind of fair. Oh.
It is accurate that the United States levels of air pollution, such as smog, soot, and asthma-causing nitrogen dioxide, have declined steadily for the past 40 years. However, that reduction is largely attributed to the EPA's regulations on those pollutants, which have tightened over the years. The Trump administration has sought to weaken or freeze those rules. It is also accurate that the United States typically ranks in the top 10 countries for safest drinking water by most measures. However, the Trump administration has also weakened the Major Clean Waters Act regulation. But it's true, right? I love this mostly true shit.
That's because they don't want to make them look good.
And it's okay to call out the rest of that stuff. But if ever there was a that's true, however moment, that would be it. It's still true. But if you think that's going to be destroyed by the way they're making changes to the EPA, that's fair to point out. It doesn't belong in something that's supposed to be a fact check of the words they actually said.
It's not so much a fact check as a fuck Mike Pence.
It really is. Let's take what he said about John McCain, a great American hero. Donald Trump says he doesn't deserve to be called a hero because he was a prisoner of war. This is true. It's not. In July 2015, Trump described Senator McCain of Arizona, a former prisoner of war, to a Republican presidential forum. He's not a war hero. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people who aren't captured.
So you didn't like McCain. Who fucking cares?
It's like they're beating the same drums. When President Trump came into office, ISIS had captured an area of the Middle East the size of Pennsylvania. President Trump unleashed the American military and our armed forces destroyed the ISIS caliphate, Mr. Pence. This is misleading. Oh, fuck you. The Islamic State did capture huge swaths of Iraq and Syria, but the Trump administration simply continued the same policy to dismantle the terrorism group that former President Barack Obama implemented in 2014. Mr. Trump did speed up decision-making to allow the military to move more quickly on raids, airstrikes, bombing missions, and arming allies in Iraq. Wait, so he changed it?
Yeah, so that's not following the same policy then, is it?
Wait. Well, that sounds like her answer's misleading.
A little bit.
How can you say he followed the same thing and then tell me he changed it?
Pretty easy if you're a disingenuous liar like this lady is.
When you're talking about groups who move around constantly so they're not blown up, the decision or the ability to make decisions quickly is very important.
That's a hate fact monkey. I see a lot of hate facts in the chat, and I hear them coming from you. I find this all to be mostly true, but misleading.
Who fact checks the fact checkers? We do, Peter. It's part of our job. And if I get something wrong, by all means, call me out. The United States has reduced CO2 more than countries that are still in the Paris Climate Accord, but we've done it through innovation and we've done it through natural gas and fracking. Mike Pence, false. We'll get to that in just a second. Thank you, Dangerous Spaces. You know the quote, Trump lied 20,000 times talking point, stuff like this almost makes it seem like that might be actual, or that might actually be bullshit. Shocking, I know. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we've been over those. remember some of those lies, and that's kept by the Washington Post, by the way, guys. Some of those lies include Donald Trump called the virus a hoax. Or actually, it's him saying he never called it a hoax. They call that a lie. Yeah. Okay, so false. While it is true that the United States carbon dioxide emissions have declined more than 10% in the past decade, more than a dozen other countries, including most of the European Union, have seen declines more than twice that.
Well, that depends if they were way worse off than we were before that, though. Like, just because. Oh, sorry.
You make your point. I'm sorry.
No, it's just frustrating because, like, if let's say we were at 10% and the EU is at 30, we drop ours by 5% and they drop theirs by 10. They're still doing worse.
Well, I just want to point out what he says. See. The United States has reduced CO2 more than the countries that are still in the climate accord. Some of them may be doing better than us. But are we doing better than any of them? Because if we are, his statement is true.
Yeah.
It's just true. But U.S. carbon dioxide emissions are on track to begin increasing.
What?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Are they using the same computer models as that hockey stick?
In part because of Trump administration's rollbacks of regulation on carbon dioxide pollution. Now, one of those regulations is a thing that they rolled back. It was requiring, I believe it was power plants to install certain, what's it called?
Like
scrubbers.
Oh, yeah.
That the power plants, some of them are going offline soon, and they're talking about putting in this brand new equipment that will be way too expensive and would only reduce it more, not increase it. By saying we're not going to be putting those in some, you're not adding any more. You're just not taking any more out. That is an absolutely false statement from this bitch. Once again, we have fucking Pence. They left the strategic national stockpile empty, Mr. Pence. This is exaggerated.
Jesus.
The stockpile was far from empty. It is true that the stockpile, which includes supplies for responding to a range of national health disasters, was short of enough equipment to make such as masks meet the surging demand during the opening of the pandemic. Greg Burrell, who was the director of the stockpile until this year, told CBS that the stockpile had not received funds to replace masks and other equipment that were used in response to the 2009 swine flu. But Burrell said last year that the stockpile was an $8 billion enterprise that had undergone a dramatic expansion in the scope of its capabilities. A Washington reporter who visited the stockpile in 2018 described a massive warehouse with hundreds of thousands of shrink-wrapped boxes of medicine stacked nearly 5 stories high. Well, we didn't need that medicine. What he was talking about is masks, gowns, gloves, face shields. And the N95 masks have a 7-year life?
Yeah, something like that.
And the ones that were in there, many of them had expired. So you can sit there and talk. Okay, so you can say it's exaggerated because it wasn't literally a fucking empty building.
No, it was a bunch of useless shit jammed into a building.
It's probably why Newsweek said that Kamala Harris was the most liberal member of the United States Senate in 2019, more so than Bernie Sanders, Mike Pence. True. Oh my God, this is the same bit, because there's different people who are writing this. This is the same bitch who pissed me off twice earlier. This is what she says. Mr. Pence made a very precise and therefore accurate claim.
Okay.
And then she says, but it's worth noting that these metrics do not fully capture the complex beliefs of a lawmaker.
Jesus Christ. Shut up.
Okay. On the previous two did this bitch piss me off? It's because she didn't pay attention to what Mike Pence actually said, his actual words. But now, well, he was okay. This time he made an accurate because he was concise. Oh my fucking God. Pence. We know Donald Trump owes and is in debt for more than $400 million. Miss Harris. True. Not true.
Who cares?
That's not true. Okay, because of what she said. He goes on to say, in a story drawing on several years of Mr. Trump's tax returns, the New York Times reported last month that Mr. Trump is personally responsible for loans and other debts totaling $421 million, with most of it coming due within the next 4 years. Actually, they said it was coming due over the next year, most of that $400 million.
Well, isn't he just like the insurer on it? It's not actually his debt?
No, he took it on his personal debt.
Oh, okay.
At least according to the Times. But here's the thing. We don't know that. We know the Times reported that.
Yeah, but they didn't release any of the sources or actual paperwork, right? They just said that.
I know many outlets told me that the Covington kids were harassing Nathan Phillips.
Well, that kid smirked aggressively. It was a weaponized, fully automatic smirk. I heard that somewhere, like CNN or something.
Now, if she said we were told this or it's been said, it's estimated, I would even give you all of those. But to say we know, no, you don't. That's not true.
That is a lie.
His own chief of staff would say last year that it was pure luck that they did, quote, everything possible wrong, Mike Pence. This is in regard to the Ebola thing. Mr. Pence was quoting Ron Klain, once VP Joe Biden's chief of staff, who was the Obama administration's Ebola response coordinator. Klain was asked in an event last year. Klain, it's Klain. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that.
I have no idea.
Was asked in an event last year about the vaccine development and whether the strategic national stockpile of medical supplies was equipped to deal with a flu outbreak, and said, "We did everything possible wrong," adding that it was purely a fortune or fortuity that this wasn't one of the great mass casualties events in American history. But he said this year that his comments solely addressed the difficulties in producing a vaccine for the H1N1 virus, which caused the outbreak. But he did say they did everything wrong in regard to that. And Mr. Klain fact-checked the vice president on his own, and they link a tweet. "Thanks for mentioning me, VP. So here are the facts. 1,400 died from H1N1. We are headed to 400,000 dead in less than a year from COVID. Happy to compare records anytime." You got lucky that your disease wasn't more deadly. Pence brought that up at the beginning, too. And he's absolutely right. What's making COVID so deadly is not Donald Trump. Any president who was in there right now would be dealing with this same shit with these same fucking high numbers. It is a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Communicable disease. The only reason H1N1 didn't have 1 million deaths is because it wasn't as deadly. It wasn't as easy to spread.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hate these. They're fucking liars, Jack.
Well, they're disingenuous at the minimum, but yeah, I'd go along with you on that. They're just lying because they can, and they have a pony in this race. They're not being objective. They're just picking a side and running with it.
All right, we're done with this shit. Let's see if we can find a Harris that they don't say is true. Oh, we got one that's exaggerated.
Oh, that's as close as we're getting, I think.
Because of so-called trade war with China, America lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs. She said that? Oh, my God. Farmers have experienced bankruptcy because of it. We are in manufacturing recession because of it. This is exaggerated. Economic estimates of job losses resulting from the president's trade war with China vary. The September 2019 report by Moody's estimated the trade fight had already cut overall American employment by 300,000 and reduced economic output by 0.3%. Farmer bankruptcies risen during the trade war, but the U.S. was not in a manufacturing recession. which is commonly defined as output shrinking for 2 consecutive quarters. Factory output was sluggish through 2019, in part as a result of the trade war, and plummeted with the pandemic, but has been recovering since April. All right, I guess that's as close as we're going to get to them actually fact checking that nasty bitch.
Yep.
Jack, did you watch the whole debate?
Yeah, I watched. Was switching between Lords of the Night and Sinatra. Mostly, I ended up on Sinatra's channel because there's a lot of crosstalk, and it was kind of difficult to process everything.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm watching 2 streams that are talking about the same debate. So I just ended up watching probably a little over half of it on Sin's channel, on his Twitch. He had Drunkle on, so I can't listen to Scribe and Polly be smart and Satsu and then hear Drunkle blathering in my other ear. You know, you have to pick one.
You don't have to explain, my friend. And yes, Nuts, thank you so much for dropping our Streamlabs link. Guys, that's how you can support us best. If you want to show your love and you have some if you have love to spread some on me and Jack.
If you have love to spread, then you have $5.
That's right. That's how I always show love.
Don't tip that whore. Give us the money.
That's how you're supposed to show love, right?
I think so.
$20 blowjob. I've never been to a whore. Oh well. Just another thing I won't do before I die, Jack.
Not with that attitude.
What'd you think of the debate overall?
I thought it was pretty boring. And I thought Pence did a better job. I think he's a better debater. And he clearly got her off her momentum several times. Because she seemed to react a little more emotional, especially toward the end of the debate. Where he seemed to really be more prepared. But it was kind of a wash. I don't think you're going to change anyone's minds. They both gave enough red meat to their bases. I just think he was a better trained debater than she is. She's not good at debates. She gets frustrated easily and flustered, and that shows. We saw that with Tulsi. We saw the way she snaps back. Her eye rolling especially was tiresome. I think that's going to turn some people off because she kind of came off as a Karen.
I think I watched the beginning of Crowder's thing right up until the debate starts. And I only tuned into it because he said he was going to have Megyn Kelly on. And I'm fascinated by her lately, Jack. She's a weird creature.
Yep.
And so I wanted to tune in to see what she had to say. Because she's actually moderated before. Not just the VP or the presidential debate, but I believe she's done a VP one as well. But
probably.
He asked her, okay, what do the candidates have to do tonight? And her answer for Kamala really, I think she was right. I don't think it would have ever happened, though. She said Kamala should have just sat back and been meek. Just sit back in the corner and just answer the questions. And just let Pence, come out and be almost Trumpian.
Yeah, because then she could say he was beating up on her and gain sympathy points.
So, I from what I saw, she did the exact opposite.
Oh yeah. Well, and when she talked about what was it, Breonna Taylor, I think it was, she had this shit-eating grin on her face. I'm like, you're talking about somebody's dead kid, and you're doing that face? Like, sometimes I think she doesn't human well sometimes. She has the same problem Hillary has, is that she can't read a room.
Viking says not a big fan of Megyn Kelly, but she did have that Basic Instinct vibe going on tonight, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh my!
I'd bang her.
Yeah, the way she was dressed on there. Yeah, I could see the Basic Instinct thing. Yeah. I don't. She's probably the greatest example of don't let your politics get in the way of your news telling.
Yeah,
because she had an excellent gig going on at Fox.
Oh yeah, she was the #1 rated show in her time slot across the board on cable. and she blew it all.
She pissed it away because she didn't like Trump.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can pull that off if you're over on CNN. But if she just stayed nonpartisan on it and kept that to herself, she'd still be in a nice, cushy job.
Yeah, exactly. She was making bank over there. She had a best-selling book, and she squandered everything.
And she's getting it back, and it's interesting to watch that happen because she goes over to NBC, and the whole thing with blackface happened.
Yeah, which was dumb. They wanted her out of there. That's all.
Yeah, if you guys don't remember, the thing that ended her career at NBC, there was more going on with it in the background, but what they officially claimed it was that she simply asked, why can't somebody who's dressing as a black character wear black makeup? And you'd have thought she killed a black man on TV.
Right? Blackface has a very specific meaning.
Yep.
In all honesty, if you want to look at the minstrel shows, that's blackface. Just having black makeup on is not necessarily blackface. Don't die on air.
I'm trying my best, man. It's hard to keep up the happy voice sometimes.
I know.
Give me a second. I'll recover.
Look, I don't have anything against Megyn Kelly. I think she's actually a really good interviewer. She just let her personal feelings get in the way of her job.
From what I've seen, I think it might have made her better at what she does. Because when she first comes back and she's on YouTube there for a couple of days, and now she has a podcast, she went through the ringer with the press. They threw everything at her that they throw at everyone else. And suddenly, no matter what you think of Donald Trump, you're like, holy shit, he's not wrong. So I don't think that necessarily she's pro Team Trump, because I think she still has a personal grudge against the guy.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't like him as a person.
But I think she's a lot more interesting to watch now because she's got to see all sides of it.
Yeah.
She's got to be over there, and she's got to have that hatred and animosity come at her. And it's weird. And yes, Eagle, she was on Crowder tonight, last night. He did his debate show. I can't watch when he does that stuff because their crosstalk is worse than ours. Holy shit.
Right.
Like, Steven, shut up. I can't tell what they're saying. I tried to watch some of the presidential debate that he did. I'm like, I can't watch this shit. And that's after having already watched the debate myself, so I know what they were saying. But I need some reference to what the fuck he's losing his mind about that time.
Yeah.
Faithless says she got a taste of Trump's world. She really did. And I don't know her personally. This is just how it comes off to me. It seems like that was a real rude awakening for her. Who was she on with? I want to say it was Shapiro. It might have even been Crowder. But one of them interviewed her and she talked about what she went through on all that shit. And goddamn. She became a non-person in the media world. So I'm not telling you guys to go be fans. Check her out and see what you think, because I find it interesting. And she is, like you said just a moment ago, Jack, she's always been a very good interviewer.
Yeah, she's not stupid. She's just got her own personal biases, and sometimes they show. Maybe she'll learn from her experience, but she let the Trump thing get to her. That was a mistake, and it hurt her very badly on her career.
Rodline said she was on Shapiro, and Dangerous said maybe when she talked to Rubin. I don't remember who it was. I just remember her, which is, if you're an interviewer, that's how it should be. They should remember who you talk to.
Yeah.
And I forget who it was, but it was a really interesting take on it. Oh, God damn it.
That still put my wiener in her.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman, especially for her age, man.
Yeah, and she's got like 3 kids.
And it doesn't look like she's done the tightening of her face yet, so she's aging gracefully so far.
Yeah.
And it works. Seriously, ladies, stop doing that shit to yourself. Christ.
It
looked
never
like Alyssa Milano. It's not nice. And then
her boobs.
And then Kathy Griffin.
Ugh. Ooh, so much happening there.
They can't stretch her face any tighter.
No. Mr. Frodo won't recognize her.
They'll snap back. It'd be like a rubber band when you pull it too far. I do want to say this as I was watching the debate, and I did tweet this out. And I think we talked about this during the RNC, Jack. Mike Pence has a ridiculously small nose.
I never noticed that till you pointed it out, but he's got kind of a weird face.
I mean, it's when you look at it, it's like, okay, that's normal, but you look at it like something's just not right. His eyes are a little too close together and his nose is too small. He looks like if you squished a Cabbage Patch Kid's face. Be nice, Monk. I love Kathy Griffin work in the Dark Crystal. Fuck.
Yeah, she was very helpful to those Gelflings with her weird astronomy layout.
That fucking, oh god, that woman's ugly as shit. All right. Where does Megyn Kelly come from? How does she get jobs on TV? I don't know where she's from. But she was a beautiful woman, and Fox was looking to hire beautiful women, and they put her on the air.
Yeah, she was like an anchor or something for a little while, like a field reporter, that goes out to the storms and shit like that.
And now they won't let her on the air.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. In a tragic way, man, because they really destroyed that woman's career.
Yeah.
And I know there are people who are rooting for that kind of thing because of what she pulled with Trump. I believe in second chances, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, we all deserve a second chance at some point. And there's always the chance that you can make things right and be a better person and be better at whatever job you're doing. So good for her if she can turn around. I'll probably listen to some of her shows, see if it's interesting. She, like I said, she's a pretty good interviewer, so might be worth checking out.
And ain't no way in hell Monkey's doing a 12-hour stream. I'm waiting for my wife to get up. So I'm doing here, Jack. I'm just waiting for her to wake up so I can go lay in bed. I don't plan to sleep. I just want to lay down. Lay on my belly so there's no pressure on my fucking back. She has a net worth of $45 million, so she's not hurting for cash. No, hey, and Megyn Kelly, she did get a really sweetheart deal. That was that the NBC one?
Yeah. Well, she had a bunch of money from her book sales. And then she got that sweet deal with NBC, and they had to pay her out a bunch of money when she left.
It wasn't like 20 million or something like that.
Something ridiculous like that. She did get a payoff from Fox too.
Yeah, I know.
Ailes thing.
She had very good, not lawyers. Well, with the Ailes thing, but with her agent, whoever worked out that NBC deal for her. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I want them working for me. God damn.
Right?
All right. Thank you, James Colley. Second chance equals a job in porn. Look, if there was video of Megyn Kelly going down on Katie Hill, I would watch it.
I'd rather there was video of them going down on me.
Well, there's that too, but we're talking about porn, so.
That's true. Katie Hill was kind of fat, though.
I mean, I'd still watch. She
Yeah,
blocked me. That bitch blocked me on Twitter.
I saw that. I saw you post about that.
Look, I'll be honest. I probably deserve that one because she is not a public official anymore. So I got to be careful what I say to people like that. But she was whining about being a victim and all that one time. Well, several times. I used to tweet at her every time she'd say something stupid, which, by the way, believe it or not, quite often. Yeah, and I just remind her what a dirty whore she is. And look, I don't mind if you're a dirty whore, be a dirty whore. But then don't go out there and whine that you got caught being a dirty whore.
Yeah, and people are treating you like a dirty whore. Yeah.
She left Congress so she wouldn't face an ethics committee over the fact that she was rumored to have been fucking somebody then
Yeah.
in her staff.
Yeah, which you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to bone your staff.
It is against the rules of the House and Senate.
Yeah.
The stuff we know she did actually came from her campaign. Did you ever hear her excuse for that?
She was stressed.
No. It was like nobody was really running. We were all running. So it wasn't like anybody was really the boss.
It was a polyamorous race.
Yeah. That's what the bitch said.
I forgot about that.
It's like nobody was really in charge. Like, okay, that's might have been how you ran things, but you were still in charge.
Yeah, you're still the candidate, dum-dum.
You're still the boss. Oh my God. And look, I am not one of those people who thinks that a boss can't fuck an underling. I think that should be fine as long as their job isn't on the line. If two consenting adults want to fuck, I don't care. But that's not the world we live in, Jack.
No, it's not.
Katie Hill would have been fine in my world. She meant go fuck whoever you want to. I don't give a shit. As long as you're not holding it over them for their job or anything, I don't care.
Real quick, thank you, Frank, for the donation. I hate them constantly bringing up Breonna Taylor. The facts aren't on their side. Seems like if you repeat the line of Brandon Tatum released a video about why the warrant was released. If documentation is real, it was a justified warrant. I'm just tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of people burning cities down. Did you see that they were going off in some suburb of Milwaukee today?
No.
There had been a shooting a while back of an officer killed this guy, and there were going to be no charges pressed. So they're out there tearing shit up again. In Minneapolis and this little podunk town I can't pronounce, it's got an Indian name, right outside of Milwaukee.
Formerly Rodline brings up a good point about Katie Hill. So the thing with Hill is she's kinky. That's true.
That's true. She'll do freaky shit.
I bet she's had it in her butt more than her front hole.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet she'll take it in the butt while she's going down on another chick. And that's kind of a keeper right there.
Now I want to see that with Megan Kelly and me as the others. I have more respect for Lady Monkey than that, so I wouldn't put her in that scenario. I do have a fantasy of Lady Monkey in a very similar situation, going down on Lady Monkey. There's like a whole group of them.
A whole bunch of your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, you need a cloning machine.
I do. I just bang them all, and they all worship me. It's wonderful. It's nice to have dreams.
It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up there. To my daughter, hi, Munchkin. God damn it. You know what I realized today, Jack?
Oh, what's that?
There are several of these shows I wouldn't have done recently. And I told you, I just have this need to do it. And that need has actually gotten stronger since I know my daughter listens. I don't get to talk to her very much. And I love that child. She's my sweetheart. She's my world. And if you're out there, Munchkin, I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so very, very kind. Jack, is there anything you'd like to show?
I'll drop a link to my latest videos in the chat. And I was on Polydub's channel for comic book curation today, so go check that out. It's on his channel. And as always, thank you so much for the donations. You guys are awesome.
Lords of the Night is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on Satsu 2 Senses channel. I will do my best to be there. I'm not promising anything. I hate that, Jack. I don't miss that show, and I've missed it. I missed a show and 3/4 of a show in the last week. One of them on my channel.
Yeah.
This shit needs to correct itself quick because it's irritating.
Yeah, I imagine.
No game stream, guys, because I just can't. Got that new game. I couldn't even play it after I woke up. I went to turn it on. I'm like, I can't even do this. That's annoying. You know, You know how fucked up you got to be where you can't click a fucking mouse? That's all the game is. You can play that whole game with just a mouse.
That's fucked up, man.
Ah, that's all right. Get some. I'll sleep when I can, guys. I'll lay down when I can. I'll be fine. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just want you guys to understand why it's like this. I am trying my best, and I hope tonight was entertaining because I feel drained as shit, man. I don't know if this was a good show or not, Jack.
I never know. Well, we'll ask your daughter.
But watch the part about Kamala and her cheating in the debate. You guys decide for yourself. Tell me in the comments below. Is that what we're supposed to do?
I think so.
This is a discussion. We want to know what you think.
You beautiful bastards.
That's why you should be here live so we can see it, fuckers. Anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. Jack, thanks for hanging out with me.
Oh, it's always fun.
Everybody, have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night, Munchkin.